restaurant was unusually busy that evening, filled with executives, travelers, and wealthy clients who treated the place like a casual lounge for their egos. But in the middle of all this, noise moved Lena, a humble waitress with tired eyes, a patient smile, and the grace of someone used to enduring more than she ever complained about. She balanced a tray of tea glasses when the door opened, and a quiet hush fell over a few tables. A man dressed in a tailored white thobe, gold cufflinks, and a confidence that filled the room walked in. Sheikh Rami al-Hassan, an Arab billionaire known as much for his business empire as for his sharp tongue. His entourage settled behind him, but his eyes landed on Lena. He smirked. "This place hires anyone, doesn't it?" he remarked loudly in Arabic, assuming she wouldn't understand. His companions chuckled. Lena froze for a second, understanding every word. Her mother had raised her speaking Arabic at home, but she remained quiet, offering a polite nod as if she hadn't heard. Rami leaned back in his chair. "Bring us the finest tea you have," he said, again in Arabic, then added mockingly, "if you don't drop it on the way." Another round of laughter echoed from his table. Lena felt heat rise in her cheeks. She wasn't offended because he was a billionaire. She was offended because he treated her as less than human. Still, she kept her dignity and returned to the kitchen. Behind the counter, her co-worker Mia whispered, "Just ignore them. Rich men think they own the world." Lena smiled faintly. "I'm not upset. Just surprised he's this rude in a country that's not even his." When she returned, carefully placing the teapot on his table, Rami made another remark. "Good. She at least knows how to carry a tray. Maybe she can learn to speak properly too." His entourage laughed even louder. This time Lena looked him directly in the eyes. Calm, steady, unbothered. She opened her mouth and in flawless Arabic said, "Would you like sugar, sir? Or are you already sweet enough from insulting strangers for entertainment?" The entire table fell silent. The billionaire's smile vanished. Utter shock washed over his face as those around him stared, speechless. For the first time that night, Lena was the one holding the power. The billionaire, Zayden al-Hassan, sat frozen in his leather chair long after the waitress walked away. Her flawless Arabic still echoed in his ears. He had spent his whole life watching people bow, flatter, and tremble in his presence. But that woman, she hadn't even blinked. He tried to focus on his laptop again, but his mind kept drifting back to her voice. How could a waitress speak Arabic like that? And why did she look like she'd been hurt recently? His curiosity finally won. Zayden stood and scanned the cafe. She was in the corner, wiping down a table, her shoulders slouched, hiding something beneath her hair. When she bent forward, a bruise peeked out from under her collar. Dark, fresh. Something twisted inside him. He wasn't used to caring, but something about her, her pride, her pain, her fire, pulled at him. He walked over. The waitress stiffened when she saw him. "If you're here to complain..." "I'm here to apologize," Zayden said quietly. Her eyes flickered with surprise, but she didn't soften. "You don't need to," she said. "Rich men like you don't apologize to people like us." "People like you?" he repeated. She sighed, tired. "People who earn their living carrying plates, people who don't have power." Zayden hesitated. "You speak Arabic better than many in my own country. How?" Her jaw tightened. She looked away instead of answering. He noticed her hand, slightly trembling, and a bandage on her wrist. He swallowed. "Who hurt you?" Her eyes widened. "No one." "That bruise on your neck says otherwise," he said, voice suddenly cold. She turned her back to him. "Please, sir. Some things are better left alone." Zayden wasn't used to being dismissed, but this time, it felt like he deserved it. He stepped back. "Fine, but I'm not done asking." She finally looked at him, annoyed and exhausted. "Why do you care?" Zayden held her gaze for the first time without arrogance. "Because someone should." She froze. No one had said those words to her, not in a long time. Before she could respond, the cafe door slammed open. A man stormed in, tall, furious, eyes locked on her. Zayden immediately felt the air change. The waitress whispered, terrified, "Please, don't say anything. That's my ex. He's dangerous." And Zayden realized this wasn't just about a waitress anymore. This was about saving her. The restaurant grew quieter as the billionaire Sheikh Karim Al-Fad narrowed his eyes at the young waitress standing before him. Moments ago, everyone had laughed at her, mocked her, when he insulted her in Arabic, assuming she would never understand. But now, the room felt frozen. Aisha stood tall, her apron slightly crumpled, her expression steady. She repeated her flawless Arabic response, this time even slower, making sure every person in the room heard. Respect is not bought with money, sir. It is shown through character. A ripple of murmurs moved through the restaurant. Kareem leaned forward, shock evident on his face. Where did you learn that dialect? That is not ordinary Arabic. Aisha hesitated for a moment. She hadn't wanted anyone to know. But the truth was standing in front of her, demanding to be spoken. My father, she said softly. He was a language professor. He taught me Arabic, French, Turkish, before he died. The billionaire's expression shifted. Something in her tone hit a place he didn't show anyone, his own past, filled with loss, buried beneath luxury and pride. And your mother? He asked gently in English this time. Aisha looked down. She's sick, very sick. I worked 2 jobs to pay for her medicine. I only took this shift because the other waitress didn't come. Silence fell. Kareem inhaled deeply, guilt slowly settling into his chest like a heavy stone. His arrogance, his pride, the way he'd mocked her, suddenly it all felt shameful. He looked around the room, noticing the embarrassment on other people's faces too. He stood up. Everyone watched in disbelief as the billionaire, one of the richest men in the city, lowered his head toward the waitress he had insulted. I judged you without knowing your story, he said quietly. For that, I apologize. Aisha blinked, caught off guard. It's fine, she whispered. I'm used to it. The billionaire's jaw tightened. You shouldn't be. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a black card, metallic heavy, unmistakably exclusive. This is not charity, he said. This is an investment. Something tells me you're meant for more than serving tables. Aisha stared at him, confused. What do you mean? Kareem smiled for the first time that evening. Come tomorrow. I want to offer you a job, one worthy of your intelligence. And the entire restaurant erupted in stunned whispers.